So I want to talk a little bit about the service, what it means to be a veteran to me, a little bit of my experience, and then talk to you guys, you kids, a little bit about kind of what Ms. Ismang just said about what us veterans have done for you, hopefully, to make life better for you, and kind of what we want from you guys in exchange. Okay. So, yeah, like as I said, Mrs. Hodges, I was neighbors with her parents back in Grand Island. My connection to this area, about 2003, moved to Grand Island to stand up the aviation facility when we built that here for the Nebraska National Guard. So I came here as a captain then, but I'm an aviator. A helicopter pilot. We flew Kiowa helicopters and then moved to Chinooks and now Chinooks and Lakotas out of Grand Island. So we set that unit up from basically scratch, and we've seen that unit grow to over 200 people that go there on drill weekends now for the National Guard. And we have been overseas to several deployments and been in the warfight in Afghanistan, in Iraq with the Chinooks, and then multiple state active duty missions with floods around here and up north. In the floods of 19, the big floods, we had air crews pitching hay out of the helicopters to feed cattle and horses that were stranded. We've done COVID response, all sorts of stuff with state active duty since then. So. It's been my honor and pleasure to serve. And then also to Mrs. Hodges, I think you said Ronnie was gone today, but Ronnie served with our unit for a few years, so thanks for his service as well. Like I said, I want to talk today about Veterans Day and kind of what it means to me to serve and some of the sacrifices that have come with that, and give you a little challenge on how you can help each other honor that sacrifice. So there will be a quiz at the end of this too, kids. So, formally, Veterans Day was started to honor the end of World War I, which ended on November 11th, 1918. So that's why we got November 11th for Veterans Day every year. It was declared a formal government holiday later by Congress in 1938. Previously, it had been named Armistice Day, and was recognized by Congress in 1924 for a different change in name. And then after World War II, around 1947, became known as Veterans Day, to where we celebrate now for all veterans of all wars. So Congress continued back in the day to even get their hands in things to make things complicated and confusing for trying to do the history of it. So Veterans Day today centers around those that have served in our armed forces. I know we'll have a roll call after I talk, but it includes the Navy, Marine Corps, the Air Force, Coast Guard, now the Space Force as well, and the Army. So today, I stand before you with almost 26 years completed in the Army National Guard. I joined as a 19-year-old in college, and I was a combat medic in the cavalry. I was blessed with opportunities to move through other units, and units were changing. And I had the opportunity to apply to fly helicopters, and I applied and made it through those assessments. So for the last 23 or so years, I've been flying helicopters for the military. I've flown the Kiowa helicopter in the Air Cavalry, the Black Hawk medevac unit, the Chinook in heavy lift cargo, and then Lakota observation utility helicopter and service and support roles with the Army. So basically, really just lots of different experiences with different Army units and coming together with different teams to accomplish different missions. I've deployed overseas, I've deployed in the U.S. for state active duty response, and then most recently on the U.S.-Mexico border supporting Border Patrol last year. So I've been blessed with many experiences, many people, like all of you that have served as well. Uncle Sam has sent you off to places that you probably never dreamed of going, and you've made lifelong friends and have lifelong memories. So it's our pleasure to do all that for everyone. A few things that stand out for my service. On deployments, it's a lot of time with being bored. Once you get into a routine after the first month or so overseas in your place, lots of time with boredom, and then it'll spike with lots of activity and excitement and sometimes terror, and then it calms back down, and you just kind of go through waves of that. In my experience, it's on the big ones, it's been about a year away from home, and then you work your way back home. The biggest thing I've seen throughout it that still boggles my mind today is just the increase in technology from when I started to where I am now, and I can imagine for the veterans that served way before me to where we are now, just the technology and really for many of us the sentiment at home when you're gone and when you're back. I've been blessed to be deployed kind of after 9/11, so much of the country was very grateful for our service, happy to welcome us home. Not the case for some of you sitting here with your deployment experiences, whether it be Vietnam, Korea, which often was forgotten. So just thank you all for your service prior to me to where we can enjoy the fruits of that now. But the technology piece, I mean, when I started flying helicopters, we had the pedals up front in the cockpit. Now they control the tail rotor. Before we had to pedal and keep the rotors going, and two of us, and otherwise prepare to land. No, just kidding. The technology wasn't that bad when I started, but now, where we actually had to fly before, we can pretty much get taken off, push 2 or 3 buttons, and it'll take me from Grand Island to Topeka, Kansas, or Lincoln, Nebraska, and it'll pretty much land the thing without me touching it. So technology's blown away. Along with that, it's our ability to keep in touch with our families when we're gone. So letters before, weeks apart, you get them to where now then it progressed to emails, so you could kind of have time to email a couple times a week and then every day. And now you can pretty much reach anyone overseas with your cell phones, FaceTime people, stay in touch. So that has been quite a big help with creature comforts to stay in touch back home. Like I said, on a few occasions for me, the deployments were long, and those are rough times for those of us serving in both. I kind of want to recognize the families back home left behind. In the period of time, like I said, mine were several months off to a school, sometimes in peacetime, or 1 year with you go on the big deployments. You miss birthdays, you miss anniversaries, you miss sporting events, the recitals, you miss life, you miss upkeep of the home. This is usually when air conditioners, water heaters, lawnmowers, things like that tend to break on you when you're gone, and it's left for those back home to deal with. As you come home, your experiences have changed you, and it's changed your families as well. So there's a big adjustment period to go through as you go home, and it's not easy. It's one thing, and then it's also one thing for those of us that volunteer to go off to serve, but it's another for our kids that have to stay behind, and say, hey, see you, mom, dad, and deal with the separation and worry from your time away. So I know just being around Grand Island, when word got out that I was talking, a few people said, hey, my kids go to school there, so there's quite a few of you actually. So, but I'm going to recognize a few of them. I'll put you on the spot. I apologize if I missed someone. But Carter and Reagan, ma'am, where you at? Where are they at? There's one. Where's Carter? Okay. So, mom and dad, Nikki and Nate over there, Army veterans, served with them. Nikki has kept my supply stuff in line for years when I was out here. So, thanks for your service, guys. The Gahardis kids, where are they at? There's a whole bunch for him, right? Trace, Abby. Okay. Your dad, Super Dave, I see him over here, crews Chinooks for us and runs the Chinook unit on the administration side. So thanks for your service as well, Dave. Great professional in the back of the aircraft for us. And then Wyatt Walker. Is he here today? There he is. Okay. Dad, John, first sergeant, served with me over the years off and on, and most recently down on the border, supporting Border Patrol. Kept me in line, kept over 400 people in line across 2,000 miles of the border to help Border Patrol. So if I missed anyone else whose mom, dad was in the military, okay. Oh, missed one there. Okay, thanks for your service and sacrifice, bud. So, but it touches all of them. It touches all of us and our families as we go. So, for the rest of you kids, we veterans, we appreciate you more than you know with just the simple thank you that we get when we're out and about and you see us in public. Sometimes we're in costume, or we just have our we served veterans hats or hoodies and stuff on. So we love when you guys come up and say hi, thanks for your service to us. So please keep doing that. For those of us that are still serving, when you have opportunities, we love the care packages sent from you guys. Often the unfiltered thoughts of kids and their appreciation of what we're doing overseas is just the motivation we need to pick up our spirits and keep us going. They get brought home, they get displayed in our offices and crew ready rooms, so keep doing that stuff. Okay, another thing you can do to honor veteran service is to live your best lives. Thrive in the opportunities of freedom that we have sacrificed to preserve for you. How do you do that? Well, you can do that at this stage in your life by simply recognizing, like us, that you are on a team as well. You're on a team with your classmates in the school, and you're going through the different daily challenges of working through elementary school as you go working towards high school. So support each other. Be kind to each other, and that'll set the stage for great things for coming to you all. Okay? So I wish you all well, and thank you for your support to us veterans today and the many other days throughout the year. Okay, so in review, here comes the test, okay? Review. Congress is going to make things complicated. Live up to our sacrifices. Be kind and support each other. Send us letters. If you ever put beef jerky and Girl Scout cookies in those too. Okay. All right.